the reason I go through it is this is a general understanding that your teenagers are normal, even though you don't think they are. Okay? You think they're crazy. You think they have been possessed. You think the brain has fallen out and is somewhere under the kitchen table. And so I'm normalizing developmental issues. And so we're going to normalize all the behavior that they have. I'm going to go through the first three quickly because the last one, that cognitive behavior, that's the one that's the biggest challenge for us as parents to really grasp a hold of. Okay, so physical development, what's happening in puberty? Growth spurts, hormones, more growth spurts, more hormones, hormones. Y'all get the picture. Okay, so we see our children growing. This is an awkward period for them when they grow because they're not growing like they used to. When they were little, y'all remember this, they'd go a little up, a little out, a little up, a little out. They'd get a little chunky, then they'd spurt up a little bit, then they'd thin out a little bit, then they'd get a little chunky again, and then they'd spread. They're not doing that in puberty. Puberty is the second fastest growth spurt in the human life cycle. What do you think is the first? 2 years old, that's a good infant to 2, that's a good guess. It's not right, but that's a good guess. In utero, and you are correct. That's the hardest one. They're kind of going, life cycle, yeah. So from microscopic egg and sperm, baby, and then grows. That's the fastest growth spurt in the human life cycle. Very good. All right, this is the second fastest. You will notice, how many of y'all have kind of preteens, first of all? Okay? Those of you who have teenagers, y'all remember this, but the preteens, they do their arms and their legs and their feet first. They grow really fast. Shaggy, you remember Shaggy in Scooby-Doo? You remember how he used to walk? Okay? To me, that was a preteen in motion because his legs were really long, his feet were really big. I remember when my son started school 2 years ago, new shoes, new clothes, new everything. Within 2 months, he needed new shoes again. Are y'all there yet? I see Mom back there going, mm-hmm. And that was supposed to pay tuition, wasn't it? But it's the shoes. Okay, so it's awkward for them because they're not used to this growth spurt. So they may be clumsy. They may be kind of bumping into stuff where they didn't used to. There's an imaginary door. They're stumbling over their own feet, that kind of stuff, okay? So if they're having a hard time with this, it's not our time to make fun of them, even though we want to, okay? Then we're going to go kind of make that shift to social changes. That's another of the 4 domains of development, social. So what does that mean? Friends. Who said friends? Thank you. Friends. It's all about the friendships. Are y'all there yet? Are y'all there yet? Y'all know what I'm doing, don't you? Okay? This is what they're doing all the time. You might get a little bit of this if you've got video chat going or instant messaging or Facebook or whatever it is. But we're seeing a lot of this. Okay? It is all about friends. Their friendships will shift. The friends that they had in elementary school, they may not have in high school or junior high school, because they shift. And it's normal for them to shift because they have different interests, they have different activities and things like that. So those friendships are going to change. This is also where peer pressure becomes a really big topic because peers, they want to fit in with their peers, they want to be accepted by their peers, and if their peers are doing stuff that they normally wouldn't do, your child may want to fit in and may start doing that stuff. But I have to say this, okay? Good kids make bad decisions. Okay, we'll leave it at that because we can raise our children perfectly, but with that brain development, we'll get to that in a second, they're not thinking logically and rationally. So they may make some bad decisions, but that doesn't mean that they're a bad child. It just means an oops in that moment, okay? All right. So socially, they're more active, they want to fit in, things like that. Okay, let's do emotionally. What's happening emotionally? Everything. Everything. Okay, so you didn't know you were going to get a biology lesson, but you're going to get a little bit of a biology lesson, okay? So we have a brain. There are parts of our brain that do different things. We have what we call the limbic system. It's in the back of your brain. It's part of your amygdala. It's about the size of the end of your pinky finger, that little joint. It's about that size, so it's not very big, but it is very, very powerful. It is your emotional control center. It's where all of your emotions come from, okay? That means sad, joy, excitement, frustration, anger, etc., okay? Well, in adult humans, it's pretty normalized, okay? We have our moments of getting upset and getting angry or getting excited, but most of the time we're pretty normalized on it. Well, with a teenager, it's on high all the time. So they're on a roller coaster ride, I'll say it that way. They are on an emotional roller coaster ride. 1 minute they may be, hey Mom, how's it going? I love you. And the next minute they're like, why are you bothering me? Have y'all been there? Okay, making sure we're on the same page. Sorry to pick on you. You know. You're thick-skinned now, aren't you? We're going through puberty, so we've got to be thick-skinned about it. Okay, so they're on this roller coaster ride emotionally. I mean, they may 1 minute be happy, the next minute they're sad. Sometimes they're brought to tears. Sometimes they are just as calm, cool, and collected as you could ever imagine. They may have an angry outburst 1 minute, and the next minute they're like, hey, what's for dinner? And you're like, really? You're talking to me now? Okay, so that's actually normal development.